Hi. Oh, y'all the ones that got the tickets.
We just met.
I saw that. Yeah. Nice to see y'all.
Nick, Jalen's on pace for career highs in most passing categories to this point in the season. What has it meant for him to take those kind of steps, especially as he's been slowed in the running game with the knee pain?
Yeah, like I said, I think he's been playing really good football, and so we're not looking at the stats kind of like that. We're looking at day by day, game by game, and we feel like he's been going to the right place with the football, making accurate throws, big time throws in clutch moments, and so. We're pleased with where he is, right now. And like I said to you guys, he just keeps improving, right? With the more reps that he sees, the more things that he sees, the different defenses, where he went with the ball, this defense, where he went with the ball in this play versus this defense. He just has a very unique way of just trying to get better every single day. He really lives that out. And so, we'll know he'll continue to get better with the more reps that he gets. And I know that's crazy to say when he's started for almost 3 years now, but it's this memory bank of all these different plays that he's ran against these different defenses and knowing where to go with the football more and more consistently, and then just being getting more reps at being accurate as a thrower. So that's what as far as his pass game, he's just making good, quick decisions and throwing with good accuracy.
The city obviously. On Monday, the top edge rushers are playing a greater share of snaps than they did last season. What does Nolan Smith need to do to be more involved on defense?
Yeah, he's in a deep room. He's in a very deep room with 3 guys last year in particular that had 10+ sacks. So, again, as Nakobe, as Cam Jurgens last year, they're in a position where there isn't rotation, right? There as much, right? And so last year those guys were more, just backups, and then as far as Nakobe, special teams. Whereas Nolan's getting, he's in a deep room, very similar to those 2 guys, and he gets mixed reps here and there throughout the game. And so again, he's getting good reps there on special teams, and making some plays there on special teams. So again, not anything that Nolan has done where we're really excited about Nolan and the possibilities that he has as a football player. He's just in a very deep room, and sometimes you get in the flow of the game and you ride the hot hand, and Sweat and Josh and Hassan have been playing really good football.
The city obviously gets fired up for this game against the Cowboys and with the division ramifications and everything. Do you have to sell that to the team in your messaging, or is it just understood with the?
Yeah, again, that's for y'all to, you as in media, the fans to get. We have to treat every day the same. You can't get more up for one game than you would the next game. I think if I said to the fans and to you as the media that it's Cowboy week, we're going to ramp it up. Well, what the hell were we doing the last couple weeks, right? You'd be like, well, that's why you lost to the Jets, because you guys weren't I wouldn't ever. And so we know how awesome it is. Now, with that being said, we know how much energy this stadium's going to have on Sunday, and every bit counts. Every little bit counts. That's why I find myself after every away game that's essentially a home game, I try to thank the fans because they've been awesome, right? And so it's the same thing here. This energy that I want it to be played up in that sense, but for us to do anything different would mean I'm not doing my job for the first 8 weeks of the season, right? And so, but I'm appreciative to be in this rivalry game. I'm appreciative of the players and the coaches that have coached it and played it in the past. I feel very honored that I can be part of this rivalry game. But I'm just saying, just in the sense of us and our preparation, again, that first year I had those T-shirts that said "Beat Dallas," and that. Not that it backfired, but people were like, "Well, how dare he say what? Yeah, we do want to beat Dallas, right?" But I just don't think that the preparation or the weekly, the things that you go about your business weekly, because this could happen for everyone. Okay, Jalen's playing against Tua, or just go about your business, right? Just go about your business for a week. Or we're going to play in Buffalo, whatever. Oh, I'm going home. just go about your business. You can't let those things distract your attention to detail and all the things that you go about throughout the week. But fans, let's go. It's Dallas week, and so we're going to need that. Dallas has to feel that. Dallas has to feel that when they come in here, that it means a little bit extra to the people in those seats, and it's going to be loud, and it's going to be a hostile environment.
That being said, Nick, if you look ahead,
Has that evolved for you?
I'm looking at you.
thank you.
Yeah.
If you look ahead, because I know you can't treat this bigger than it needs, and what you said is perfectly said, but this could be a game that decides the number one seed, because these are two great teams, not just the division. So the magnitude of this one is ramped up, is it not?
Good question on that, but like there's a lot of football to be played after that, right? And we can only play one game at a time, and so I just don't think of it that way, and I'm not asking for anyone to understand that mindset, and I'm not asking anyone to understand our team's mindset there, but we have to completely go about our business every single day and just try to go 1-0 today so we can try to go 1-0 this week.
Has that, going back to John's question, has that sentiment from you evolved from that year one? You bring up, obviously, rivalry games, you bring up the Beat Dallas t-shirts. Did you learn from that? So obviously your preparation always stays the same.
Yeah, because again, like, yes, we want to win every game that we go out there and play. Obviously, that's the goal. But your goal day in, day out is to put yourself in position to go 1-0 that week, right? And so I would say that the mindset is just completely focused on the day leading into the week and not looking ahead to anything. So yeah, I think that changes. I think that changes with your role as a coach too. I think sometimes as an offensive coordinator, like it's easy to be able to say, all right, who's next after this, because I'm planning some things but your job as the head coach is to make sure everybody's locked in to the day, the situation. So I think that comes a little bit with the difference of roles, and that was week 3. And so, of course, everything that I'm trying to, if I'm asking the guys to improve every day, then I need to improve every day and be, and the only way you can do that is to, have a process that you stick to, and that doesn't mean you don't change the process. You're always trying to perfect the process. But yeah, of course, I've grown in many ways since, day one of becoming the head football coach.
I understand you were asked about Kenny in the red zone. Can you explain the decision to have him as your number 2 versus Boston and Rashad?
Yeah, he's the number 2 because I think I was asked about this too, and I said there's things that you don't see that were obviously in practice. He's our number 2 because we believe it right now. He's the second best running back on our team. That's based off games, that's based off past games, that's based off practice, that's based off the whole body of work, not just, and I obviously understand where that question's coming from. But I didn't get this question last week when he ran over 2 guys in the Miami game and got into the end zone, because we were all singing his praises, and also the same thing in the playoffs last year when he gave us some very valuable carries. But I understand that's your guys' job, but if I were to just say, okay, Kenny fumbled the ball in the red zone, that's it. He's going to number 3, then that wouldn't be consistent of what we do with any. I don't. And Jalen throws an interception, he doesn't come out. And Brian or myself call a call that results in a turnover. I don't turn the play call duties over to Kevin. This happens over and over and over. There's mistakes that happen. If AJ drops a ball, we don't say to him, I don't know if he's dropped one in a couple weeks, but we don't say to him, we ain't throwing it to him anymore. And so that's the same philosophy here. And Kenny's our number 2 back because he's our number 2 back because of his body of work.
And along those lines, the running game hasn't really been firing as well as we've seen it these last couple of weeks, and this is a Dallas defense that, statistically can be run on. Why do you think the reason is for kind of being stuck a little bit in the run game, and do you think this Dallas defense can be run on?
I just think it's a week-to-week game. Games are, you do whatever you need to do to win that football game. So opportunity has been a little bit with the run game. We've been throwing the ball more. right? And so, well, why is the run game not working? Well, we haven't given that as much opportunity as the past game because we felt like last game it was more to win the game, to score 30-plus points, which we did. It was to throw the ball. And so that when you look at it just as stats, then yeah, that's fair. But then we're always trying to put ourselves in position to win the game, period. And if we have to throw it 50 times, we'll throw it 50 times. We got to run it 50 times, we'll run it 50 times. That's just what we'll do to win the game. So I think a little bit that's been opportunity because of a success that we've had throwing it, and that's why.
Nick, Dak's had a lot of success against you guys since you've been here. What are some of the keys to slowing him down, things maybe you haven't done in the past against him?
Yeah, obviously I can't give you all that stuff because then that's giving. But Dak has had success because Dak's a very good player. I have a lot of respect for Dak and Coach McCarthy and the weapons and CD Lamb and the weapons that they have over there. And so he's done really well against us the last couple of times he's played us, and so. Just like any quarterback, what I'll say is, just like any quarterback, you have to try to confuse, you have to try to hit him, and to try to, knock him off his rhythm. And so, but can't tell you how much respect I have for Dak. I just feel like he's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, and we have our hands full going into this game to make sure that we contain him.
Nick, before the injury, how was Cam Jurgens playing, and what have you guys missed most without him?
Yeah, I thought he was playing good football. Stepping in to a role that, between Lane and Jason, obviously that helps. But I thought he was playing really good football. Been really pleased with Sua and the job that he's done. I think we've been pretty good on offense these last, since Sua's come in, and that's why we trust. That's why we trust him. To be able to step in and play. And Stout does a good job of getting the next guys up ready. He'll continue to do that. And, we like our depth at offensive line. And so anytime you lose a guy, you're going to miss the player, but you're happy for the opportunity the other guys get. And I feel like Sua's really taking advantage of that opportunity.
A couple more here?
I thought, obviously he only had a handful of plays, I think 6 plays, but I thought he did pretty good. I thought he did pretty good, and he, held his own, and against two really good players in Allen and Payne.
Nick, on that note, the along the O-line, Lane happened to get hurt in both of the games against Dallas last year. Offense looked a little different, obviously, after he went out. I know he's a backup plan for anyone that goes down, but any extra thought given to that in advance of this time?
No, not because of that he got hurt in the last year.
Coincidence that it happened.
Yeah. Well, we have backup plans obviously for everything, but no extra. Like my point was no extra thought. Like everything we do is extra, right? And so no extra thought. I guess is what I'm saying.
Nick, when you look at Micah Parsons, you guys have had pretty good success against him. I know obviously you're not going to say what you've done against him, but like, how much does he impact their defense, and how do you have to plan for him and everything?
He's awesome. He's really outstanding. One of the best players in our league. And so we'll have to make sure he's accounted for every single play. Because I think that's the only thing I can say about him, that he's awesome. And so, we got really good players up front too. That sometimes we'll have to win a lot of different ways against him to make sure that he stays out of the stat book and stays relatively quiet. But that's easier said than done because of how good of a football player he is.
I was going to ask a similar question there. You had a specific game plan last year against him. What's those Tuesday meetings like, preparing for a specific play?
Yeah, when we spent a lot of time thinking about that specific player. I don't know if I've said it here, but I remember being in the AFC West, right? And when we were in the AFC West and we were with the Chargers, there was the Raiders had Khalil Mack and they had Bruce Irvin, and the Chiefs had Justin Houston and Tamba Ali. I'm remembering all these because I spent a lot of time thinking about them. The Broncos had DeMarcus Ware, they had Von Miller, and each week you'd have to go in and spend a lot of time on Tuesdays, Mondays, and Tuesdays thinking about that. And that's what you do with any good player in this league. That you got to think a lot about them. You got to think a lot about them. You got to think about them more than their loved ones think about them, all right? And that's our job as coaches, to make sure we're putting the players in positions to succeed. And so a lot of our day, when we played Aaron Donald, a lot of our day was devoted towards Aaron Donald. Obviously, Micah Parsons deserves that same respect, as you guys have just heard what I think about how good of a football player he is. And so a lot of our day was consumed with that as well.